Hello, welcome back to my channel. It has been so long. I wanted to come on here because I feel like it's time to be more authentic in my videos. It's time for me to really share my story, to share why I started this in the first place, and to really be like a guide. I have been through so many lifetimes on this short experience of life that I've been on, and I feel it's my duty and why I am here on this planet is to share these things. For a long time, my content, I've been not really fake, but I've just been really figuring it out and experimenting with different content styles and scripting. But what I've learned is that I'm most able to help people the more authentic I am. And so I just pray that this video and this new era of creation really is able to show you that you can do the impossible, and that when you step into your sovereignty, when you step into your love, when you step into the version of you that doesn't have any masks, anything is possible. So I wanted to share with you how I even got into content creation. We're gonna do a little story time today. So just get comfy, get your tea. I have some dandelion root tea here. I'm currently on my cycle and feel super low energy, but I also feel so much creation energy, and I feel called to share. So here we go. So this video is going to be about how I became a content creator without taking the traditional paths, how I became an entrepreneur, how I started generating income for my business. I want to take it to the beginning. Social media for me has always been something that I have always been trying to figure out. It's never really ever been natural to me, but the more that I have posted, the more natural that it does become, and it just becomes a part of my everyday life. But growing up, I was kind of like restricted from it. I was not allowed to have social media. I was not allowed to have my phone in my room. In high school, that was really difficult. I had really strict parents, and like I was in high school at like the peak of Instagram, like right when Snapchat started to emerging, like back when TikTok was still kind of like emerging. I feel like TikTok is really at its peak right now, and I feel like it's still going. I feel like it hasn't even really reached its peak yet, but like Instagram was huge, and it was a way, and Snapchat, it was a way to stay connected, and I was completely blocked off from that. I was not allowed to have my phone in my room. My parents were really strict, and I felt really isolated and cut off from the world. Because of this, I ended up having a burner phone and a burner iPad, but I wasn't able to like just share my day or share my story or anything because I wasn't allowed to have it out in front of my family. During that time, when I started posting consistently, I realized that it was kind of like an outlet for me to really just express a part of myself that I felt that I couldn't share in real life. It was like my alter ego, basically. It was my dark side expressing, and like my feminine side. I don't think darkness is necessarily bad. I think there's a lot of beauty in it, but I was able to basically like, I wanted to fit in, and so it also became something for that. And because of that, like who I portrayed myself to be on social media was not at all who I really am. That's why I wanted to make this video, is to just be more authentic. It ended up kind of evolving into a space where I could connect a little bit more and just like share what was going on. It was really, really fun. I really loved memes. I have like such a childish sense of humor. That's one thing you might not know about me. It became a place for me to connect and just to like get creative, tap into my creativity. I love taking pictures. I've been taking pictures of myself since I was like a little girl. I've always been told that like I could be a model, and that was a dream of mine, but my parents blocked me off from that because mentally, like, I wasn't, well, they thought that I wasn't ready for it, and honestly I wasn't, because I had an eating disorder, and like that world just like totally promotes that. But I still wanted to take pictures of myself. I've always just loved taking pictures of myself. I find myself so beautiful, and I just love admiring myself. And so that's kind of like how social media started for me. And so like after I graduated high school in 2019, I was totally free. I felt this level of freedom that I never have been able to experience, and I was able to fully like express myself. I just was able to be fully in my femininity. I was able to just really creatively express myself, and I started surfing a lot more. It's my freshman year in college. At the end of 2019, I was going to community college and just working and just honestly having so much fun surfing. And like I took so many videos and pictures, and lots of pictures actually, because I just really wanted to model. Like I was like, okay, this is like my dream, like I want to model, so I'm gonna go for it. So I started taking lots of pictures of myself. I even actually started going on this app called Live Me, where I had like a short little following there. I probably had like 2,000 or 3,000 followers on Live Me. I probably had like 2,000 or 3,000 followers on Live Me. I had so much fun going live, and I would literally just like sit there with my best friend and talk to like strangers, and just, it was really cool. And then I started to make money from that too. And that's crazy. Hold on. I started to take videos on Live Me, and then COVID happened, and that was crazy. And I ended up moving out of my house, and then I even like did OnlyFans for a little bit during that time, and I made probably like $1,000 in a month, but it just didn't feel in alignment with me, and so I stopped. This was like back when I was 19, which is literally crazy. I moved out of my house when I was 19, and that was just a journey in itself. I've always been very independent, very entrepreneurial. COVID was insane. It changed the course of my life forever. I thought that I was going to finish community college and then go to a regular like transfer to a 4-year and get a business degree and just go that route and like find something in business. I never ever thought that I would ever like really have my own business and just be my own boss. I ended up getting fired from the job that I was at after moving out, and that was just absolutely terrifying. But during this time, like I still always continue to take pictures of myself. I was using social media as a way to just like creatively express myself. And like I said, I didn't realize it up until now, but I guess I'm like pretty self-obsessive. I just, like I said, I love how beautiful I am, and I wanted to share that. Like I was like, social media was a way for me to express like who I was, and like how I didn't really feel like I was able to fully express online or in real life. And as I began to blossom, like new parts of me started to emerge. I ended up going on like some medicine journeys. I was able to just like really like a new part of me just really opened up. I never really ever thought that I could take social media seriously up until like 2022. The end of 2023, or like the beginning of 2023, like that's when I started posting even more. I started my YouTube channel. I started posting consistently on YouTube, and during this time I also started posting more consistently on TikTok, and I saw all these other girls like making so much money off social media, and I realized like, okay, like I even like was in the modeling industry for a little bit. And I started using social media kind of as a way to be like my living business card, because that's how like the modeling industry, like you agencies and different like companies will look at your social media page to see like what type of pictures you take. It's like with kind of like your portfolio. And so I started kind of using it for that. I just did a bunch of different photo shoots, and I would post on there. I even got some work from an agency that I got signed to, but it never really fully took off like how I wanted it to. But I just knew deep down that like there was something in that like vicinity and that area that like I was meant to do in life, and being in front of the camera like brought so much confidence to me. And that was like such a scary part in life. Like modeling is pretty scary. It's not at all what it seems. I grew up watching America's Next Top Model, and it is honestly nothing like that. And then I also realized too that like modeling just was basically just taking pictures of like, you're basically somebody's like living mannequin, and like you don't actually really have freedom to express yourself. Like you have to basically dress yourself how the designer wants you to dress and how like your agency wants you to dress, and it's like I felt so limited in that space. And so then I was like, okay, like why can't I just start posting consistently and like be my own boss and like be my own model? And I started posting on YouTube. Like I said, I started posting hauls, I started posting skincare tips and just like DIY hair masks and like girl talk. And I literally probably had like less than 10 subscribers at that point, but I still kept going because then I also realized that it was a space for me to also like make people's days better. It evolved past just like a creativity aspect, like just purely just like a creative outlet. Like it was, but it evolved into like me realizing again that like I can make people's days better. Like I realized like what could I talk about on social media that can make people's days better? And like skincare was huge for me. I had been on a skincare journey for like the past 3 years. I had quit vaping, so I did a video about that. And then I started posting on TikTok consistently because I knew that like that was a way to like really just become, again, just like a channel for like whatever messages wanted to come through for me. But then I started posting consistently on Instagram too and on YouTube, and I never really thought though that like I never really fully went all in. A part of me like still was craving that like structure from like a regular job. So during this time period as well, I got my real estate license in like 6 months, and I was also working with an investor network. And basically what I did was like I was the investor relations. So like I worked basically in this company, like we would interview different startups that were raising capital, and we would connect them to certain investors in our network that like we felt would help them be able to be a good fit for them to give them capital. Now the thing is like that I learned so much from that, like I really did. And we also I would also sell investor conferences. We had like 3 investor conferences a year, and like I would sell like booths at the investor conferences and like pitch slots and pitch times. And think of it kind of like as like Shark Tank, how companies that need money to grow their business would come to these events to basically pitch to investors. And I found out that I have such a huge passion. I learned so much about business there. Like I learned way more about, I feel like that I learned way more about business during that than like anything, than like any business degree could teach me. Like I learned something, did learn business. I didn't fully get my associates, but like I took all my business classes, and it was a good foundation. But this just like really threw me into the fire, and I was able to interview probably hundreds of different companies that were raising capital. And like I got to like learn about like what it really means to be a business owner and be an entrepreneur, and how they bootstrap, and just like how they have to go to different investors, and like what pitch decks are, and like how to create a pitch deck. And one day, or one event, this was probably like the 4th or 5th event that I went to, they had a press wall that they would interview CEOs that were raising. And the CEO came up to me, or like the founder, like the head guy of the investor network. He was like, hey, like, can you please interview people today? I don't have an interviewer, like, here's the script. And I basically just like went all in, and I started basically interviewing these different CEOs and these different founders, about asking them about their like purpose, how much they were raising, like what they were using the money for, and just like really like that video was going to be shared on the investor network YouTube. And the videographer and I like really hit it off. We ended up interviewing this one doctor, and he really loved us. He thought that we were a team, and he invited us up to his estate in Malibu, and he basically was telling us that he had a business that he was starting, and he basically offered me a job. And he was gonna pay me like $5,000 a month, and he didn't even like have a job title for me, but he was like, I want you to move up here, like we're gonna basically, like we're gonna change the world with this new idea, like we're gonna just bring so much positivity into the world, and it just felt so aligned with me. And so I literally moved to Malibu, and it was so cool. I was able to like find out what Erewhon was, and I tried the Hailey Bieber smoothie, and like it was really fun. We got to work with the gentleman who wrote the Juicy Couture business plan. That was so fun, but it wasn't legit, and I caught myself just like, I'm the type of person that likes to go. I've just always like been like, I just have always like had like this drive and this passion, and the business was still forming, and it taught me so much about, again, patience, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I got a call from the business manager one day, and he was like, yeah, the project has been terminated. You can pick up your last paycheck and go home. And I was like, what do you mean? I literally just moved my whole life up here to Malibu. And Louis was there, which is really awesome. He's the videographer that went up there with me, and he was hired to basically document the whole entire process of the business being started so that they could like make a documentary about it. But the project got terminated, so that documentary was never made. So I went back home. Louis ended up telling me that he had a business, a social media agency, and he basically put his whole entire like business on hold and how to drop some clients because he was going full-time like with this doctor and his documentary. And so he had like one client, and he wanted me to help him scale the business. And like then that's how I like really got into social media. He was like, I'm gonna teach you how to really edit, I'm gonna teach you how to like just really engage, I'm gonna teach you like how to actually grow a social media account. And I was able to work on this account that had like 30,000 some followers, which was pretty cool. The name of the company was called Bioharmonic Technologies, and I had never worked on another company's social media before, but like I'm so good at just like getting into the energy of me like knowing what I'm doing. And so like I got hired, which was really cool. Like the experience in Malibu, like, and the experience with this agency really taught me that like, oh my god, like I could actually make real money not doing hospitality, because I've been in hospitality for the past like 4 years up until that point. And I could like, I really understand, oh my god, like this could be my career, like I could really do this, like there's a huge need for it. And like if I create this skill set, if I learn this skill set, like this could really turn into something. And I was so grateful for it. And so I studied social media like crazy. I learned how to edit. I learned how to like basically create something out of nothing with content, with like a content bank. I learned how to script. I learned how to film. I learned so much, and it ended up not really working out with Louis. And I was just at that point so just like drained, because I was like, I feel like I'm trying so many different things, like all these different things, like and nothing seems to be working out. But what I also realized was that all those different things like equipped me with certain skill sets and certain understandings of how business worked, how social media worked, like what it really means to be an entrepreneur and just to like fully go for it. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe the reason why this isn't all working out is because I'm supposed to be my own boss. I also had been fired from like 3 different jobs up until that point. I was literally so lost. I was like, I don't know what to do, but this seems to be in alignment with me. And like this just feels right. And so I'm just gonna go for it. And so I'm gonna create my own agency. And so I continued my education in social media, and I didn't go to school or anything. Like I just listened to so much Gary Vee. I like just went on YouTube and I searched up like just, you can literally learn anything on YouTube. And this is also when ChatGPT, I started to really use it consistently. So I learned so much from ChatGPT. I ended up creating my own agency and I created pitch decks, and I worked with this other company called Innovative Quantum Wellness, where that was like my first client that was like without anybody. It was just me and her, and I would go and film for her, and it was so fun. Like that was such a fun era. I worked with Giselle's Vegan Kitchen for a little bit. I've had the pleasure to honestly work with so many amazing brands, and like I don't really have any qualifications other than the fact that like I worked at luxury hospitality for a really long time. Like I've worked for the Ritz-Carlton, like I've worked for like Nick's and South of Nick's, if you know what that is, just like very like high-end restaurants. And it just taught me so much about being professional and how to like really learn and provide an experience. And so like that's something I'm really good at, is providing an experience for somebody. And I realized that like I can fucking do this. Like I can do social media, like it might not, and I wasn't fully posting consistently on Instagram because that was really scary, but I was at this point still posting consistently on TikTok. I was probably posting like 2 or 3 times a day on TikTok. Just I learned about creator search insights. Like I started to gain momentum on there, and nothing like crazy, like, but like I basically grew to about 2,000, well, like 1,000 followers from scratch. But it taught me so much about like my brand identity, and I had so much fun doing it. And I realized that like I was actually helping people, even if it was just like 2 or 3 people. Like I was actually helping people. I'm gonna start getting emotional. I've literally like poured my heart and soul into this, and I feel like I've hit kind of like a roadblock, and I realized it was because I lost my authenticity. And so this is just me sharing my authenticity. And I love making people's days better. And I, at this point as well, like when it didn't work out with the agency with Louis, when I started going full-time my own agency, I ended up getting another job. I was working at this cafe that I was absolutely in love with called Parakeet Cafe. And it was just like a really safe place for me to go while I was working on my business and like really creating like my brand. And during this whole time, like my relationship with my family was really rocky because they wanted me to, my sister went the traditional route. Like she went to San Diego State. She like was majoring and minoring and like all these things. And like, here I am just like being thrown into the fire, trying to figure shit out. And like, that's why I'm so big on self-love, is because like, it is so powerful loving yourself. Like you can literally do anything. Like I found that I could generate money by loving myself and teaching other women how to love themselves. And so the social media agency, with that era, like and like handling other businesses accounts, like I learned so much about what it is to like how to like schedule content, how to have like different content pillars, and it was amazing. But then I realized that like I was meant for more. And then I realized like I started to like engage on some of these businesses accounts, and they were like, this isn't my brand voice, like I don't want this. And I realized like I didn't know how to like morph my voice into like their brand identity. So I was like, okay, screw it, I'm just going to go all in on my own brand. Like I was posting consistently on TikTok. Like I knew the skills, like I knew what to do, like I knew enough to just go for it. And so I just ended up posting like crazy on TikTok. And then I started also posting on Instagram. And then in March of 2020, yeah, so this was back in like in March in 2025, I just started posting consistently on Instagram and TikTok. And then I got a vision. I also had a vision of me just becoming like this influencer and like making millions and like really just like posting and making other women's days better, being a shining light in some women's days and in their lives. Just like my favorite influencer was for me, her name is Activation Vibration, Heather Hoffman. And then Spirit like basically said to me, like, we want you to create your own course. And that scared me, because I was like, what do I make this course on? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm just so confused. And that's why I'm so big on ChatGPT, because like I would not have been able to create my course without it. Like ChatGPT helped me script, it helped me organize everything. And I basically, yeah, like I created my course all last year. It was like a 9-month project, and I created it and I launched it, and I was so excited. And I was also like I figured out that I could also coach one-on-one. I created like a 10-week mentorship, and I just fell in love just with social media. But during this time when I was like morphing with my business and really finding like my brand's voice, I was kind of like limiting myself. But I feel like it was good because I was learning about like what I like to talk about. And like I created like 3 different content pillars, and I was like, okay, I'm going to just create content out of these pillars. I created like a system for myself, like with my business. I got super serious about my financial consciousness. I just realized like, oh my God, this is literally what I meant to be doing. And so I ended up getting clients with my one-on-one mentorship, which was really like such a blessing. And I realized that I could actually help these women. I found like such a beautiful way, a cyclical way of living. And I just wanted to share that with the world and with women. And it's kind of what like this has turned into. And like now I can't fully consistently live off of everything yet, but I still do social media consulting, and I do dog walking and dog sitting, and I'm building my brand's voice. And I launched my course, and I probably had like 3 sales, and it was for my boyfriend, my best friend, and my mom. And I still haven't had sales yet with that course, and it's very, very frustrating. But the more I like step into it and realize that like I lost my authenticity, and I like lost the true core of why I wanted to do this, and it was to create a safe space for women to evolve. And like I did for myself, I created a safe place for me, and like now I'm building this brand, and it's still, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I still believe in myself. I believe in my voice. I believe in my vision. But like, I just want you to know that like you can do anything you set your mind to. And I know the world is a little scary right now because of AI. Everybody's so scared of AI taking their job. Hold on, I need a tea. Everyone is so scared of AI taking their jobs, and like we're just moving into an era right now of like moving from the head and into the heart. And like that's what I was missing, was like living in my heart. And like now all of a sudden, like, oh, finally I feel this fuel again of just like authenticity and love and connection and creation. And I got the call to just post on YouTube again. So I'm going to start posting consistently on here about my journey, about self-love, about basically the in-betweens of like this journey that I shared with you, and just reminding you that like you can literally do anything. Like I basically birthed this like baby, this business. The name of my business is called She Aligns. I'm debating if I should like do She Aligns now or She Aligns. I had a business called She Blossoms, but then I realized She Blossoms now, because like when you water yourself, like you will flower and blossom. Like you're basically like a flower. But alignment is basically like what I'm teaching is like when you are in alignment with your sovereignty, which is your divinity, when you are in alignment with your truth, when you like don't give up, and when you keep going, like you're in alignment and you're in your personal power of creation, and you can literally do anything. You can be whoever you want. You just have to create that safe space for yourself. And I can do it, and you can do it. I've done it. And like the universe has supported me, and God has supported me in so many ways to be able to just birth this. And like I want to be that safe space for you. So I do offer one-on-one mentorships that you can apply for on my website, shealignsnow.com. I also have, if you want to step more into this energy, like I created the Feminine Alignment Method, which is my video course, which basically goes in depth about like what I learned to really birth this, like through my feminine energy, like how you can activate into your sovereignty, like how your thoughts create your reality, like how I basically did this, how I basically just stepped into this version of myself, because it is so empowering. And then I also have AI prompts, because AI really, really helps me with just birthing my brand identity. And so you can find all that on shealignsnow.com. But I love you so much, and stay tuned, because I hope you enjoyed my story about how I started posting consistently. And this is who I am now. Like I'm a content creator. I teach other brands how to show up confidently online, and how to be authentic, and how to really birth your brand identity. And so if you want to work one-on-one with me, like I said, you could go to my website, But this is just a reminder that like you can literally do anything, like when you love yourself and you accept yourself and you don't give up. Like never give up. This has probably been like a 5-year journey for me, and I'm just getting started. I just want you to remind yourself that you're literally a bad bitch and you can do anything because you're a fucking goddess in form. So if you just like live every single moment with that knowing, then like your reality will reflect that. So if you want to learn how to tap into that energy, like I said, go to my website. But stay tuned for more amazing videos. I love you so much, and get ready for more stories.